Welcome to Who Gives a Hoot. It is another episode, and been over a month since we've had a win.
What you about to say since our last episode, but
I mean, it's been
feels like it.
no, we haven't had a win since April 19th. We are recording this on May 29th.
Oh, it feels every bit like it. I'm not doubting that.
Yep. I mean, we've had a home game since then. We've had one home game at Werner Park this season, even though June is on Sunday. But we yeah, I'm not optimistic that we're gonna start winning games here soon.
I don't know what to say. Like there's nothing clicking that I can see. Like when I watched the game Sunday against Naples, it just looks like every previous match that we had played in the league at that point, where we are kind of going through the motions of what they went through training or the game plan that they had. And it didn't matter whether we were trying to push the envelope, trying to get a score on, didn't matter whether we were trying to possess or just doing anything. He couldn't get a decent shot on target or create anything that would be considered dangerous or half space.
We're recycling the ball, and we have a weak link in defense.
Friend Tyler put it best. We're probably the best team in the league right now, getting the ball, the attacking third.
Yes.
And at that point, gosh, you just hope that just statistical analysis alone, you just hope that eventually more of these attempts start resulting in goal than aren't right now. It's bound to happen, you hope. But there's definitely also some worries about getting to defend against the counter that we haven't been used to seeing.
I think probably the best state of fandom I've heard. One of my friends sent me a snapshot of the co-promotion that Ron Gomez is going to be at the AFC Omaha game, and they had the Union Omaha emblem up there next to the AFC Omaha, and we thought it was a friendly, and we're like, AFC Omaha is going to win. And for those who don't know who AFC Omaha is, they're a UPSL side. They're decent, but they are by no means a pro side.
Midwest Premier League.
Oh, sorry, they're Midwest Premier League. Okay.
Yeah,
that was a very confusing formatting on the flyer. It looked like a match.
But tell me right now that Union Omaha in this form goes in, plays the UPSL and Midwest Premier League sides in Omaha, Council Bluffs, and does exceedingly well.
Okay. As a person that has actually watched a couple of these games and had to report on stuff, follow Omaha Club Flush. Gonna plug that real quick. I know Union Omaha can beat AFC. I don't know if Omaha could beat Lenoma because I've seen Lenoma's one time they played a match and they looked pretty good.
What about Eagles? What about Captains?
All right, so Captains, I don't think so, no. Not quite sure about anyone else. I haven't seen Omaha Street FC play. That rounds out the 4 amateur sides that are currently active in Omaha right now.
You have Omaha Eagles.
Who are they? I feel like I'm missing them.
That's the one Manny signed with, Manny Lira.
Oh.
So, yeah, like all I'm saying is there's a plethora of semi-pro teams in Omaha this summer, and none of us are convinced that Union Omaha would dominate them.
I hate saying that because like I think Omaha would definitely, Union at least, would beat all of them if we're gonna do like real for real here. But if that's how low we're going at this point, I feel like this is very much a question of not so much are we good enough to beat these teams. It's a matter of are we good enough to compete in the league that we're currently in and not have a change in like our current circumstances.
I will say this. We have one defender we've called out continuously who has played at a very high level. In the best game he has played so far this year was against St. Louis, the only MLS side, which to me speaks that he doesn't respect his opponents. He's not playing to the level that he can play. He's playing to the level he thinks he should play.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment, I'd say. Funny
And-
that we also
go.
funny that we say we haven't won in a month. I'm looking back at FOTMob. We have not scored from open play in over a month as well. We have only gotten quarters or penalties for goals. Last time we scored was our last win in open play.
It isn't our leading scorer in the league, Joe Gallardo, with 2 penalties scored so far this year?
I believe so.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Okay. This is Union Omaha we're talking about. We've won Supporters Shield thrice. We've won the league twice. We've made it to the final 3 times. Like, are we not putting the investment into the team, or are we not taking advantage of the players we have? I know we've had injuries. I think we were expecting more out of Lagos Kunga. We were expecting more out of Blake Malone, both of whom were given season-ending or majority of season injuries. Ryan Jiba hasn't been fully match fit for pretty much any of the seasons so far. But
Prosper Cassine too. I have a feeling he's meant to contribute more than he's been able to because of injury.
Yeah.
Well, and Prosper is one that I see him out there. He's making all of the right moves, but it just feels like we're not distributing well to him.
Yeah.
Like when he's out there, he's creating the runs, but like our substitutions against Texoma and against Naples felt weird. Like we weren't making them early enough. It's like we had promises to players that they would be playing more time. It's not that our schedule is congested anymore because we're out of the Open Cup, but it just feels like we're not rotating players as needed. We're not seeing the bleeding happen before it's a gushing wound.
Well, we've also seen up until, I forget how the Texoma subs went, but up until these last 2 matches, basically it was most of our subs were they looked like planned halftime subs. And something tells me that this is just also something that you have to navigate early in the season, not because it's early in the season, but because different players show up at different times. You might have some players who had a full off season, while some players are maybe playing somewhere else later into the year and came in with not as much time off. But this last game against Naples. This was our first proper had a week off. Monday we do this, Tuesday we do this, we watch this on this day, we watch this on that day. This is the travel schedule, this is etc. And I won't say we looked terrible against Naples. We did a lot of good things, but we got outclassed for each goal Naples scored.
We felt more excited that we were in warm weather when Omaha was cold than we did to be playing a game.
Yeah.
That's my feeling there. There was the team talk last night with Sergio Ors Navarro and Ryan Jiba, neither of whom traveled. Ryan, as mentioned, has been dealing with some injuries through the course of the season. Sergio, I don't know if he was injured, as we've listed throughout the
Are you
years.
talking about? Are you talking about Texoma?
No, I'm talking about the team talk last night.
You said neither of them traveled.
In fact, they were back yesterday.
From
I'm
Naples?
not sure what you mean by neither of them traveled. Sergio started against Naples. Ryan subbed on.
So then they got back early because we were still seeing guys that were down there, which means they flew back early.
Okay,
They
yeah.
might have, yeah, especially if they'd agreed to
Yeah.
get the team talk. But yeah, since we have the week off this week, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the players stayed in Florida.
Yeah, I mean holiday week. But regardless, Sergio, he's one that we brought on coming from West Virginia, like had great collegiate career, has not been scoring the goals that we need him to. But the league has also progressed in such a way. Braedon and I were talking a little bit about this before recording. That are we seeing a serious divide between the collegiate recruits and the guys who are coming up through the academies, like the Blake Malones, your European players. Sergio had his background with academies there, but then going into the U.S. collegiate background or collegiate play and not having that professional background there. John, do you feel that that's something where we're starting to see more of that divide in the league?
I'm I'd have to do a little bit more deeper digging before I had a confident answer to that question. I will say the trend that I think I could see collegiate soccer going, and it's probably already gone this way just because how the rules work, is collegiate game is simply going to become a way for international players to come to the United States to play. Usually there's no international caps.
Not right now.
I call it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I
might
watched some of the
change.
news
That might
today.
change.
I take that back. So okay. So to be determined, I guess. But I think
And sorry,
it could
yeah,
be. I think
full correction there on the uh, Navarro and Jiba travel. Was thinking Texoma there, but yeah, we have the World Cup coming up next year. Should be the height of soccer, like the collegiate growth, the bringing international players in to really shine in the collegiate game, grows the NCAA, grows USL, grows your semi-pro UPSL and NW or NPSL, MW,
All the
all those
acronyms.
ones.
get them all.
Yes, yeah, grow those. Unfortunately, grow the MLS. But then, and we've trended towards political in the past on this pod. We try not to dabble there too long, but there are certain trends by this administration that are going to hurt U.S. soccer and the growth of this and getting. I'm just thinking of like our star players that have come over on collegiate visas.
Yeah.
Rashid.
Yeah,
Well, he came over on a
Cheeto
high school
himself,
visa.
yeah.
Dami,
Luca and Marco.
Luca, Marco, Pedro.
Pedro.
Hurst came over professionally. So, but where is that going to set us? And do we have to start relying more on the academy that Union Omaha does not have to develop talent? And maybe get some domestic goal scorers since we ran out of international roster slots.
Yeah. Uh,
How old are the
well,
players on these teams that you've been watching on average?
Hmm?
Asking Braedon, he's watched some of these games. How old does the average player seem to be?
if I had to give a range, they're anywhere from just out of high school to 22, 23. So I know at least one player on Lenoma just graduated from UNO. Know quite a bit on AFC Omaha are still technically high schoolers, are just about to enter their first year into college, whatnot. So, uh,
Well, I'm just remembering back to Bug Eaters who were NPSL, um, and they were pulling from um, whatever. What's the one up in Fremont? Midland, the
yeah,
Midland up
Midland.
there.
Yep. Yeah, there's a couple of
Yeah,
Midland prospects as well. A couple Iowa Western, UNO. It's the whole works. The thing is that like watching these players, granted the competition is completely different. I don't. There was only maybe one or two that I would consider at this moment as yeah, they have a shot professionally. Granted, that's my untrained eye. I can't say this guy has it or doesn't, whatever.
are they
Um,
goal scorers?
one of them is a goal scorer, actually.
Sign him. Sign him right now.
I don't think he's ready for that though. I don't know what the other rules for eligibility
None
are
of our
because
guys are.
but let's be realistic here. I would rather work with what we have right now, and I think it's just a lack of the ability to be creative in the current system of how we're working our like offense, our defense, all that stuff.
With the players we have right now, how do you see, like, none of us are coaches, none of us are there in the day to day.
Yeah.
How do you see us being able to score on Naples, on Texoma, who had been the worst team in the league until we stepped in? Um, on like we're
It's a hard question. It very much is. I can't say for sure. But at the same time, I know. Take for example Joe Gallardo. He's a very creative player when you give him that chance. I don't think he's had that ability yet. He's mostly been playing in very odd positions. I can't tell what he's playing half the time now. And like take for example Kimi Amish. I think he plays really well at the wing spot right now, regardless of how he performs. Whatever he is giving it out there, I just don't think he has the support out there what he needs for that. Which we need to figure out how to help him so we can help everybody else in the offense as we move forward. And it's kind of like that give and choose for the different positions. How can we make the most out of the guys that we put there, as well as make sure that we help them if we want them to do a job. And I don't think we've seen that. We haven't had the teamwork done to do that.
so the guys of the team talked last night reinforced, like, obviously Dom leans towards the three back, but they were listing a 3-5-2. I don't feel as though we've been giving Gomez a two up top.
Yeah, that sounds
Like
about right.
it seems like a 3-6-1.
Yeah, yeah, that kind of that doesn't track with what we've been watching. I don't think.
Like Roan functions very well in like a double nine scenario.
Yeah.
A 9-10. Just he needs somebody to work off of, and I think you see him the most productive. He's a very good player. He's very good about getting it up there, but if he's the only person drawing the defense out, it's not going to work.
Yeah. With that, I would want to see Wooten try and get up a little bit more. I feel like he definitely has that ability to do that. Not so much as a striker, but like the thing I liked about yeah, like, yeah, but like the thing I liked with Dos Santos last year was that when we had Aron there, Aron was not being the big guy taking shots. He was the guy that would get the rebound. He would get the second chance, and he would be almost clinical every single shot he got. We need
goal, but not he's back to goal, but not to strike. He's back to goal to distribute, basically.
Yeah.
And that's why
And
he'll start in that kind of position, but he's not going to be the only one that is kind of like averaging in that position. He's not going to be the only one nesting there. And it's if somebody averages up top ahead of him Hell, it could be somebody like Dion or Charlie, and that just keep on like trying to go as
It-
far to the end line as possible on the ball, and which I I think that's I mean it's you can only do that so often before that well dries up.
Yeah.
I think what we're missing, like in the offense, and Dos Santos was very good at this, and you see it a lot around the world, is that sedentary striker. You know, the they're not able to force as much up on the counter because we're leaving somebody up there for a quick turnaround. And Aron is so good about getting back and so good about covering, but we're not leaving somebody up there. We're not leaving somebody with the physicality to be able to manhandle two defenders and be able to turn the game around if we put the ball up to them. Like we're looking at very tactical but not physical offense. And I think Wooten, if he goes through a Leon Goretzka COVID bulk up, might be able to be able to be that kind of guy. I see the fight in him, but now where it stands right now, pushing him into a more offensive role, we might be able to work better on the counter. And the counter, as we know, is the best thing in this league, and will
I
always
was gonna say it feels like we played a bunch of games where both teams are trying to be the one that does the counterattacking. So essentially, first team to score wins, but not because it's soccer, but because that means you then get to play on the counterattack while you're defending your lead. And you could not pick a better example of a game than Naples.
Yeah. I mean, granted, Naples is also known for doing that. That's their bread and butter from the get-go.
Exactly. They scored first, and that's all that mattered.
Yeah. And I don't know what Don thinks he should be doing in terms of like how he should be setting up the team or how we should go about game plan. I just don't think the game plan that we see right now with our current setup is it's not working. There needs to be some sort of difference. There needs to be an adjustment, whether it just be by game or just trying to find something so we just don't get scored on. Maybe that's it. Maybe we just don't get scored on. Maybe that's the first step into actually starting to win.
How do we do that? I have my thought.
Yeah.
And it's not replacing Shido. It's not replacing Jepsen. It's, heck, at this point, even not even replacing Sheely, although Sheely's hasn't seen the bench in over a month. So it might be worth trying to get him somewhere where he can actually play. But I'd say let pull Holt, pull Holt, put him out there, get rid of Coleman, trim the fat.
I wouldn't mind it. I think Coleman can't go a full 90 at this point in terms of his decision making. I don't know about his actual fitness,
He got
but
a yellow card in the first 2 minutes.
yeah, that did happen.
Like, your veteran player should not be the one pulling the yellow. Like, he's brought in for that veteran presence. He's supposed to be, controlling the back line. And
Bro, he did not get a yellow. He should have.
He should have gotten a yellow. Okay, we'll go for that. Yeah.
I could have swore
He did
I could have
not,
swore that
though.
popped up as a yellow on ESPN Plus.
Anyway, but yeah, no, I also, I mean, I think that kind of goes back to our defense. We don't have anyone back there that's like orchestrating things either. I don't see the communication for when you need. I think the best example was Texoma. Was it the second goal that they got? No, it was the first goal. It was the first goal that they got because second goal was the one that was like outside the box whatnot. But the first goal they got, we were just disorganized on defense. They were cutting back on us, and there was like very much a question of like who had who in that box and what are you doing just standing there and moving towards the ball instead of moving towards where the ball is going to be.
Who do you want on defense? Because I've got my three.
I want Owusu, I want Marco, and I want Holt at the moment.
Yes. John,
If
are you aligned there?
I think that's the most popular one. Yeah, it's the one I want to see. It's the one I want to try.
I
At the same
I
time,
think well,
I
I
would say
think
Ryan.
that with Holt, like Holt holding the center, but Marco controlling the back.
Yeah, probably sounds about right. I feel like Marco probably knows the system best in terms of not just decision making, but his experience. Um, I mean, at the same time though, I don't think I've ever seen a bad game where Holt was in this season so far in terms of his control, his ability, whatnot. Say the only thing is the fact that he's, is he 20 or 19? He's like
I think he's
he's
20.
yeah, like
Yeah, Holt's 20 now.
he has not hit the final 5 years of his developments for his body yet. I don't know if he's gonna shoot up a couple more inches or not. Which I don't know what they're trying to develop for that, but that's a completely different thing altogether. Uh, but
It,
I mean, it, it's a hard option to take because at the same time, like I trust Holtz very much, but it's also we're already in dire straits as is, and I don't know if that's changing. That's going to change anything.
Reed, I think he's more aware of where he's going to be. He's not like his physicality matches more of League One. Ballman is coming into every challenge twice as hard as he needs to. And the fact he hasn't backed off from it is worrisome. Like we're what, 10 games in, 12 games in, between all competitions.
Uh, yeah, I'd say about that. Yeah.
Yeah, something like a dozen.
Yeah. The fact that Coleman hasn't figured out to back off, like you don't body every player. And I Braedon, John, you both have played pickup with me. That's the way I like to defend. I'm bad at soccer and I play the way Coleman plays. Like he needs to learn the league better. He needs to watch more tape, just something to figure out. Don't go into every challenge like you're trying to take over Poland. It's just he frustrates me.
That I was gonna say somebody's been watching some interesting YouTube videos and lately to make that
I mean,
comparison.
we had VE Day earlier this month, and Memorial Day weekend, lots of videos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think three in the back with this group is risky right now. It's especially with how high Charlie and Dion have to play when when the guys are really vibing, right? Because our counterattack thrives when the two of them are flashing upfield as quick as they can, and it exposes the rest of them. And especially if we saw this with a little with Blake last year, and we'll see this a little bit every now and then with Anderson. Even as your center backs, they like to stray up. They want like that one person in the center to keep back. That was all Luca did last year. He was the one that they trusted to stay back in the center. That's kind of been Marco this year, and it's I'm not sure if he's used enough to that role yet to uh for us to be defending safely.
Yeah, that's a great. Yeah, I think that's a great example because I from the couple reports I got throughout the season last year, Marco was one of our biggest passers on defense. He was oftentimes the guy to distribute. He was not the guy to be out back like Luca is as the fake guy. He's definitely more of the uh, starting of the offense sort of person. He's not the out and out defender all the time.
So if we figure a 4-4-2, like that's where we think we would function the best. Who's our back four? But if I'm
Somebody's
figuring a
playing out.
back,
Somebody's playing wildly out of position if we do that. I think that's the only problem.
if I'm figuring a back four at this point, I'm not figuring on flying fullbacks. Like you're not seeing a Dion running up the field. I'd throw Dion in the midfield rather than
Yes,
playing as a defender.
and I don't know enough about Owusu's background,
Mhm.
depending on whether or not he can play like at a right back position. But I know that Marco and Anderson both favor the left side, so I wouldn't really want to make either of them play right back
You
in a
know,
back four. It's hard to. I don't know. We have personnel.
Debo?
Jiba could
Favors the
probably
left
do it,
too.
but I don't know. It
I mean, if you close the other eye, would they favor the right?
maybe.
I mean, technically playing backwards would help, I guess, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate being the guy to be like, hey, this is how we should be lining up, or like hypotheticals here, because at the same time, I don't know the answer to any of this. I don't know what's going to work for these guys. I don't know, like, if it's
That's the fun part about having a podcast, as and John, in my case, middle-aged white males. We can just say horribly no just reaching
Totally
comments
incorrect
and
stuff.
be
this
you're young, so you still have something to grow into, but like
Oh, we
Hey, I
could truck
just
Madison 4-0 next weekend. Who the hell knows?
yeah.
oh yeah. I mean, we have two rivalry games coming up as our next two games. Madison at Madison, and then, well, sorry, rivalry, don't call it a rivalry game, at Madison. And then we've got a midweek actual rivalry game with Greenville at home. And then we're out in Portland.
Yep.
So we have a nice break for the Jaeger Cup, because we don't have home field to be able to play Jaeger Cup because baseball and Gene Stothert lost, so we're not getting a stadium anytime soon. All the fun there.
Yeah. Well, at the very least, we don't play this weekend, so I guess we got a little bit extra time to prep for that. I mean, I'll tell you the one thing about Madison last time is the fact that they're kind of in the same boat as us. They're not really offensive as we are, so I think we could probably take at least a step from there to try and improve. Maybe get a shot on target this time, unlike last time.
You know what though? Like, all things considered, that was the best shotless on target game I think I've ever seen us play.
Yeah.
How many shots do we have? Was it like
We had
20?
like
8 or 9. It was close to 10.
yeah, I think we had like
was
13.
like significantly over double digits.
Yeah. I think we had 13 shots, none on target for that match, but at least according to FotMob.
Yeah, that we need at least one on target just to save face. John, are you going up for that match?
I will be up there for that match, yes.
All right, Braden, are you going up for that match?
Yes, I am.
All right, I'm hoping for your sake that we get a goal, we don't lose miserably, so you can at least save some face.
At least for when I've been up on Madison, I've never been there when we lost. So there's that. So
all right,
home teams do not win in this series.
yeah, true.
Both teams have
no
won once. I
teams
think
win
at
in
home.
this series. No,
Yes,
Madison
that is
Madison
also
has
true.
a slight win advantage, but that's only because there was like severe flooding in Omaha that canceled the game.
Yeah. In terms of the series overall, I don't really care about that. I want to see a win. I want us to actually do well. I don't care what the team does. I want for them to figure it out more than anything. Or at the very least look like they're having fun doing it. I guess that'd be a nice thing. Have fun.
That's comment of the pod. That's the comment of the pod. I hope they just have fun.
No, like no lie. The longer a team that's not winning presses, the harder it is to get out of that hole. So
Yeah.
God,
there's some sort of thing to what Braden's saying, only because it's still the month of May. Because if you're saying that in July, then it has a different meaning.
damn it, Braden.
Well,
Why'd
hey,
you
listen,
have to
listen.
say that? We're just name of this pod's gonna be. I hope they both have fun.
Not both. I hope Madison just feels miserable
Nope,
about it.
nope. If you hope we have fun, you have to hope they have fun.
No, no, no,
Because
no,
if they
no.
aren't both having fun, it's a game not worth watching.
I need the Schadenfreude. I need the Schadenfreude from this. But
No, to John's point though, like we need something. It is hard to dig out when you get to that. I remember the happy birthday grandma card we wrote Greg Hurst when he was in his shot drought. He hadn't scored a goal in like 5 games. We got him a happy birthday grandma card and signed that like we hope you start scoring goals again. Like that it's really hard to get out of that. You need to get something there. So yes, having fun, remembering that it is fun. But God, that's such just a
listen.
I'm just almost ashamed that you said that.
All right, all right. So there are two things going on. Not only do I want this team to have fun, because if they're not having fun, they can't win. That's the point of winning. You need to have fun in order to win.
Uh, Important question.
What?
Are you saying this because you're an Everton fan?
No, that's a completely different thing. This is a completely different thing.
That was fun about being an Everton fan.
Well, he just wants them to have fun. They don't have fun. He wants them to have it.
So for Everton, I don't care how they feel. If they should feel bad if they're near relegation. But for us specifically, so there was a nice little post on the USL League One subreddit talking about what's happening with Omaha, whatnot, for some reason. And a couple of comments towards the bottom were very much saying, this is usually what happens with us. We're eventually going to come back. Watch it. And I want that to happen badly at this point. I want us to go from 0 to hero, pretty much like we did in 2023. It's not going to be the same. It's going to be a bigger hill, much different. But
Big
Dom's
dog
first
from the
year, I
other
hit the
car
panic
looking
button.
at the small dog in the car. Yeah, that one.
yeah,
Like Dom's first year, I hit the panic button. I
Yeah.
will say that. Like this was about the time of the year I hit the panic button, and we turned around. We won Supporter Shield or
Yeah.
Player Shield, whatever we call it in this league.
players.
Yeah, I don't see us having the parts to do that this year. Like we need to make some roster changes. We need to trim some fat. Like we've got guys who aren't seeing the bench. We've got guys who that aren't injured and not seeing the bench. Like we need to make some changes.
Yeah. I can certainly agree with that. And I can remember the mentality in 2023. At least Don was talking about the fact that, like, when before the streak, whatever, it was very much just trying to find the spot where we can actually not just score, but also win games, because we were dropping a lot of
Yep.
points at that point. We were not losing anymore. We were dropping points. And maybe this time it is just trying to get the point that was all right now, and then eventually it's moving on to eventually winning.
Yeah.
I know he
so
has the background for that. That's very much his mentality for that.
Going on that, this feels a lot more like back half of the 2022 season instead
Yeah.
of the front half of the 2023 season. Back half of the 2022 season, we're not. There are a few games we just did not compete.
Yeah.
And the front half of the 2023 season, these were, oh my gosh, this is great. This vibes, and then couldn't hold 2-goal leads.
Yeah, this is a lot more different. But at the same time, 2022 was very much, we were kind of gassed after Open Cup, all the other stuff. This is different, the fact that this is early.
We made it further in the Open Cup than any other League One team. Was it Antelope Valley made it?
Talking about this
Uh,
year?
Yeah.
No,
League One teams?
Like
There's
who else
nothing
made it as far as us?
in League One, Alta and somebody else. Was it Chattanooga?
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, we got the 50,000 prize for Open Cup money. But the difference this year is we started at this. We're still figuring it out for some reason, even though preseason looked somewhat promising. I don't know what the solution is. I feel like Dom does have the background for this. I feel like he's gonna at least try something. He's gonna try and find a way to get these guys going. At the
When
same
was the
time,
last time we had a negative goal differential?
that's a very good question. I can't. I
Are you talking about
know.
ever?
I don't think. I'm sure some of our thorough statisticians out there can correct me, but I don't remember us ever having a negative goal differential.
And the
Well,
season, or you mean ever?
Uh, like this far into the season, we've played 7
Oh,
games.
no, not even close.
yeah.
Like we're
If
sitting -5.
hey, -5 is good enough to get Europe in Premier League. So
Yes, it's good enough to be dead last in USL League One. 7 games, 5 points. Versus next, the highest ranked team having played 7 games is One Knox with 12 points. I want to be
Seven games done today.
optimistic. Give me a reason to be optimistic
I
because
honestly
the
can't
team's
say.
not doing it.
I can't say anything other than we're getting a 311 jersey. I don't know. Like, is that happening?
Is it amber?
I don't know. I
If
haven't
it's
seen
not
it.
amber, that's not the color of my energy.
Uh,
I mean, if you want to be optimistic, we're not even at the quarter pole for the season.
yeah, like we have a 30-game league season. We're not even a third through it. And given the point difference, because it's like a 15-point difference right now from us to Spokane at top right now. That can easily be wiped out in 5 matches immediately, and I'm pretty sure most teams could do that if given the chance, at least in this league.
At this point, I'm worrying for the Pride Raiser because I don't think we'll score enough goals to raise any money.
You know what? I think we'll have nice enough people, and we'll come up with some way to fudge the numbers.
No, you don't fudge the numbers. You score the goals. You raise the money and score the goals. But are we going to score any goals in June?
I think we will. Don't worry. I mean, thing is that like it's not like we haven't scored at all. Like we scored in our last 2 matches. They were not from open play, but you know, I
Right. For the sake of time, because this is getting a little rambly, and that's almost entirely my fault.
yeah.
Oh no, it is entirely my fault.
Outline, no, outline, no, outline. Okay.
Hey, we haven't been outlined since 2020, and that's actually a fact. That is a pod history fact. 5 years since we've had an outline. Okay, what is first of all your predicted goals in the month of June for a Pride Raiser?
Run through the
I'm going to
schedule real
say
quick. Away to Madison, home to Greenville,
Madison?
at Portland, home to Richmond, San Antonio.
I
I'm going
feel
to
like
say
we're missing somebody there.
We have 5
Yep.
matches.
I'm going to say 5 goals. We're going to get 5 goals.
5 goals.
At least 5.
What was the most we've ever gotten? John, I feel like you've got this buried somewhere in there.
In a Pride Raiser month, we've got like
Yeah.
13 goals one time.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I don't think we've gone below 5 though. Like I think we've always had more than that at the very least. So
We had one month where we only had like 3 games in June, and we had a shutout of some kind, and we were of course you can always adjust your per goal pledge during the month if you want to.
You can, and I would highly recommend doing that if we continue performing like we have.
Yeah.
Um,
Or
also,
better.
where John or Braden, you're both Parliament Board. Where can people go to donate for the Pride Raiser?
I believe it's on our socials. At least it's been posted for the link itself. So if you go on like Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, it should be up on there. If not, just DM me at Who Gives a Hoot on Instagram or somewhere, and I'm sure I can send it to you.
There's going to be a newsletter coming out that has a direct link too. So if
Yeah,
you're a
yeah.
Parliament member and you get our newsletter and you read the newsletter, you'll see it coming days.
Where can you become a Parliament member?
The website with the sign-up sheet. You just need to put your email and you get the newsletter.
What is that URL?
If you look up Omaha Parliament on Google, it's the very first thing that comes up, and we even have an AI rundown now. So, which
It'd be
I hate.
omahaparliament.org.
Parliament
I
Pub?
think. Yeah, because I was going to tell Braden, no, that's not the very first thing that would show up, even though I believe Parliament Pub is closed. Is that right?
Yeah.
No, Parliament West is still open.
Yeah, it's still open.
Lives on.
But no. So Omaha Parliament, at least in that specific thing, and if you put supporters group afterwards, if you want to put it there, you will get the us up there. Or if
Are
just
you
do
still
Omaha...
at omahaparliament.org?
Yeah, or that works as well. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good URL.
Yeah.
So if you want to sign up for Parliament to be aware of the Pride Raiser, omahaparliament.org, and it's still free. You just sign up for an email list, you get spammed. You can mark them all as spam if you want.
Don't mark
but
it as
you'll
spam.
at least, well, you can.
It's not spam,
but you'll
though.
at least get the updates on the Pride Raiser, which is a great way for not only encouraging Union Omaha to score goals to raise money for human rights, but also great way to just be involved with the supporters of Union Omaha. You're figuring 5. John, what are you figuring for your Union Omaha goals for the Pride Raiser?
If it was Price is Right rules and I was the last one to bid, I'd say 6, just because I think we could do more than 5. I'm hoping we can get at least 3 against Richmond at home and then figure at least 3 more from the other matches. But so, okay, let's round up and say 7.
All right. I'm gonna step away from my normal estimation on what we'll score. I think we will have 3 goals for the Pride Raiser.
I think that would have been 15.
And no.
Yeah.
I don't think we're getting 15.
You know what? Watch them prove you wrong. That would be the best way for it to go.
They do. I think if anybody knows at this point, in doing this podcast since 2019, if I'm hoping for the demise of Union Omaha, there's something wrong. I'm not hoping for the demise. I'm just trying to not get my hopes up.
It's the hope that kills you, I guess.
Yes, it is. And luckily, we can't get relegated.
Not yet.
Thank God.
Not yet.
Yet.
2 years for that, right?
I'll put it at 3 or 4, but that's just me. Yeah. But we don't have a match this week. That's next week on Saturday against Madison away.
We might do something a little bit more succinct going into it. That actually covers some of the tactics. Madison, I believe, plays this weekend in the Jaeger Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're at Chattanooga.
Yeah, so we may
field.
actually be.
Oh gosh, yeah. Let's pay attention to that.
Okay, so
they're still getting rain in that area.
Yeah,
Atlanta had massive storms yesterday.
Yeah, for those that didn't watch the 12 o'clock, or was it? No, it was 11 o'clock our time, 12 o'clock their time, Chattanooga match in Naples. This was arguably the worst field I've ever seen in professional soccer across the many places I have watched.
Do you remember? Chattanooga in 2020?
I remember Chattanooga 2020 where someone's ribs
No
got
lights?
broken. Yeah, no lights. Yeah.
There was a
But
field underneath it.
yeah, there's a field. Yeah.
There was a
Uh,
field underneath it full of concrete. Like Dami broke a rib.
Yeah. But yeah, no, the Chattanooga Naples match was the most. That was the worst professional match I've ever seen in terms of the playing service I've ever seen. This was elementary school levels of like passing that I'm talking about, if I have to describe it. So let's hope Madison breaks a couple things there. Maybe, I don't know. Uh, Maybe not. Actually, I wouldn't even wish that upon them. Actually, uh, I want the field to at least be fair. But if you're not doing anything this weekend, there is Midwest Premier League going on. If you want to watch soccer that isn't disappointing. Uh,
Or is it just a different level of disappointing? You know
no,
what to
it's
expect and you're still disappointed?
Hey, I watched the 0-0 draw between AFC Omaha and their last opponent. It was probably the best like single like watching a game I've ever watched. It was entertaining. I got a cheap beer. I suggest everyone else do that. Games at Morrison at 6:30 on Saturday. It is AFC Omaha and Lenoma for a 402 derby. I don't know what they're calling it. Uh, so watch that, please. Go to that match. I don't know. Uh, at least drown your sorrows in cheap beer, which they actually are serving beer there. They're like $7 for like 16 ounces, so that's pretty good. So
That's Union Omaha Stadium prices. Or is it a
Maybe
little
like
bit cheaper?
$1 less. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's not bad. Um, so I would suggest anyone that wants to watch soccer live in Omaha do that. Uh, until then, I guess we'll wallow in our misery as Union fans because we're not used to doing any of this at this point. It's a very odd feeling, but it's not an unheard of one for my fandom at least. So
Well, I think Tim at Ranching Blue Penguin Media keeps up on almost all of the Midwest Premier League, UPSL games around the Metro. He's often reporting at a lot of them. So he's on Blue Sky and Instagram, if I recall.
yeah, and then there is a Substack that me and him are publishing on Omaha Club Flush. That's also on Blue Sky as well. Uh,
So
so if you want to
get
read some good contents there, go for it.
yeah, get out there, support local soccer. That's definitely something we want to make sure that everybody's getting out. And there is so much soccer in Omaha right now, so get out there and really enjoy it. Um, all right, guys, I have one last question for you. Who gives a hoot? We do.
We do.